Holy shit. The shit has hitteth the fan. What's going on, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB. Now, I reviewed Tales from the Hood 1 as a part of my 31 days of horror movie reviews. That's still going on. But the new one, the second one, just came out on Netflix, no less. Yes, Tales from the Hood 2, which is written and directed by the same guys who created and were involved in the original one. I'm talking about Darren Scott and Rusty Condeef. And what the fuck? Let me just come out and say it, just to get it out of the way. This movie's terrible. It's awful, god-awful. I don't know what happened. Look, I'm not even somebody who enjoyed the original one. In fact, I disliked a good amount of it. But watching this new one, in retrospect, that first one's a classic. It's a masterpiece. Holy shit. One good thing I can say is that Keith David plays Sims, and Keith David's a great actor. He's been around forever, and he commits. He gives it his all in this film, so I can appreciate that. Now, he's playing the same character that was in the original movie, so a lot of the luster and surprise factor is lost on his character, who he is. But you see at the beginning, he gets brought to this facility by this guy who's running a prison. He wants to create a robot that's smart enough to go out there and police America, identify criminals, and just be able to keep the world safe, I guess. But of course, the guy is a piece of shit, a racist himself, a womanizer, all that good stuff. So you get Keith David in to... Think about this. Think about how lazy this is. This guy is supposed to get Keith David to tell this robot, this computer, a bunch of stories, a series of stories, for all he knows, fictionalized stories, to let the robot know what criminal activity is, to let the robot identify what wrong in the world is. As dumb as that is, are you really going to let some guy walk in and tell a bunch of fictional stories, at least in your mind, fictional stories, and that's going to be the basis of how your robot will function before a press conference, no less? I know it's all mute because it's all, I guess, well, it is what it is. I don't want to spoil too much. But some of the stories we have is you get a story called Good Golly, which might have been the worst one out of all of them. It's based around those old cartoons that were around that made black people look really bad. Like, a lot of TV shows and people behind them were racist. We know that, we do. But the dolls that were made based on how they drew black people, just the complete black skin, the red lips, and just awful. So you get these two girls who go in there, one's white, one's black, and the white girl, I guess her grandmother collected dolls like this, so she sees another doll like it, wants it so bad, willing to pay money, the guy won't sell it, so she comes back later to steal it, and of course the doll comes alive. She has sex with the doll, she gets pregnant, and then has a bunch of black puppet babies. What the fuck am I watching? Why am I wasting my goddamn time? It's like these writers and directors didn't even take this seriously. They're trying to have a message, but it's so thinly veiled. It's so nothing. It's just a joke, really. And if that's what you're going for, if you're going for satire, if you're going for parody, okay, fine. But why is it presented all serious and all dark and grim and bloody and gruesome? It doesn't compute, doesn't really line up and make sense. Maybe this stuff could fly in 1995 like the original, but even that was done better, and it's the same people. Something about this brand of writing, this level of writing, does not work in 2018, we've come so far in horror films. We've come so far in smartly written horror films with a message. Get Out, anyone? That's a movie that you'd want to sit down and watch that has a message and that can be scary. Next story is The Medium, which I guess had its moments. It's more amusing to see the actor who's faking being a medium, to see him play some of these dead characters. That's probably the most amusement you'll get out of it. Date Night was what it was. This one especially felt like those VHS movies. It felt like a story that would have been in one of those films. It was what it was. The Sacrifice was probably the one that felt like it was trying to be about something and say something. It was probably the one that I was almost willing to go along with. Still kind of lazy, still not greatly made, but I was trying to be along with it. It's about this guy who's a Republican. He's black. He's married to a white woman. She's pregnant, and he's backing this guy who's racist, but for some reason the guy thinks that he can do well. And his black mother is not for it. Black people aren't really liking that he's sold out and gonna do this. And then you get a bunch of ghosts from the past, people who have actually died that launched the civil rights movement. And if this one character, Emmett, if he doesn't die, then it changes everything, right? So this Emmett, he wants our main character to sacrifice also. So again, it was interesting to a point, but let me talk about, I'm not going to spoil it because it's fairly new, but they do a twist ending in this movie that's the same exact twist ending as the first film. Seriously, if you're somebody who saw the first movie, and even if you grew up with it, enjoyed it, and liked the twist there, which I actually think the twist in the original movie does work, is effective. If you've seen that and you're going into this, they do the same fucking thing. And if you haven't seen the first movie and you jump right into this one and watch this one, I don't even think this is done as well to be as effective, to be as creepy and scary as the first one was. Everything about this, besides Keith David, was half-ass. Everything about it was terrible. I can't imagine that people are talking this up and loving it. I don't know how much alcohol you'd have to consume to have fun with this. I just didn't. I thought it was a waste of my fucking time. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of Tales from the Hood 2? It's easy to watch because it's on Netflix. I myself am gonna give it some old bullshit.
Man, this some old bullshit.
Like, comment, subscribe. Later.
Swimming in beers, I've been through it all, let me trickle a tear. In case you didn't know, I was living sarcastic. A motherfucking monster, something Jurassic. Had to wrap the whole entire bed in plastic. She wants bitch skits when she fucking with raptors. Killing and adrenaline, and I'm sipping on the 4-0. Listen by a whole entire motherfucking torso. Oh, what a rush, sniffing some more blow. Let the bitch bleed and I'm making a porno. I'ma keep it going a few times before I pass out. Wake up in the morning, realize I blacked out.